Hey, what's going on, guys? Got another review. This is my second review now for Magic Hop Drop Dead Legs. This was like one of the first books I got. I think it was... I got Cyberfrog Blood Honey first. Then I ended up getting The Jawbreaker's God King second. And I think this was my third comic book that I got for the Indiegogo, the independent comics. And as I mentioned before in my previous video, I'm doing indie comic reviews. Just going to be going through and going over some of these comics that I've been collecting and kind of giving you a rundown of what I think of them. And I am very excited for this one. Like, this was one that I wanted to do first, but I had just got done reading Starblaze because it just came in and it was fresh on my mind. And I decided to go ahead with that one. And now, I mean, it's been a while since I read this, but I really even received it. And I reread it recently. And I can remember the first time I was getting this in, it was basically just how excited I was for this one, just off the art. Whenever I seen it promoted on Ethan Van Sciver's channel, Comics Artist Pro Secrets, man, I knew I had to get this book. I think I was more excited about this book than any of the other ones, just because, I'm a huge fan of the 80s. Like, I love that style and that era of comics and art and the cartoons that came out around that time. And this is directly inspired by that. And again, the artwork, man, spoke to me. This is like the kind of art that I like. It reminds me of, like, on someone looking at this might not appreciate it as much as, like, Ethan's work or, Kyle Ritter's comic, which I reviewed last. I had mentioned that it had really clean art. But for me, I love this style of artwork. Like, the very, I guess you can call it crude. It's like some people might think it's bad, like they might be like, oh, this is like a 2-year-old. But I mean, you can say the same for Frank Miller. Like, if you really go back to like The Dark Knight Returns and stuff, I mean, the art at first glance, you're like, this sucks. but there's a method behind the madness, man. There's a method to the madness, and it's like, you appreciate it the more you realize, like, art is like a fingerprint. That's kind of how I look at it. And it's unique whenever you look at someone's art and you're like, oh, I know who that is. I know exactly who that belongs to. And the same could be said for this. I really like this art, man. The colors they use are a lot of primaries, so it just pops out at you. And when I'd seen the promotional artwork for it, I knew it was something special. And kind of running through this isn't going to be a long video, guys. It's just the kind of 15-minute videos I kind of try to do for the channel. This is the cover, if you can kind of get a good shot of it. It's very Miami Vice. I mean, it's almost directly Miami Vice with this guy right here. It reminds me of Don Johnson. And it's just, you even have the white, I don't know if you can see that, the white Ferrari light car. I don't know what they drove in Miami Vice. I don't think I've ever really seen that show, but I know of it. And moving on. Now, this comes from the Diaz Brothers, Brandon and Philip Diaz. And there's a lot of other guys involved in this, like, I think that's Eugenio Betivu, who's on the colors. Now, this guy I really want to get to know. And I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Kind of going through here. But you did an excellent job with the colors, sir. I mean, it's just fucking phenomenal. Opening this up now. Signed. It's pretty cool. I think I bought this for like $25. After everything's said and done, it usually runs up to about $30 or $35. And I think this is artwork of the Diaz Brothers. I think that's pretty cool. Zaid Comics. Nice. And a special thanks down here. Thanks to all the backers that made this possible. All of CG, WC, which I think is War Campaign, everyone who platformed us, the ballers, and our parents for always believing that we had an imagination. Cool. This is chapter 1. Again, that art, man, the neon colors, and like, check this out with the fucking mermaid cut up like sushi on this chopping board. It's fucking insane, man. But you can see it better like this. Stuff like that is just like what makes this book so cool. Just like the artwork like that, the stuff that they kind of came up with. Like a mermaid cut up like that. Like that's, I think that was pretty cool. Kind of gives it a surrealist kind of like Picasso style kind of art, man, and thinking. And then it kind of goes through the motions. Now, a big point I wanted to bring up in this video was like cliches, and this is very cliche story wise. If you were to ask me, we talked about the art. I love this guy, the little Jamaican skeleton pimp guy. He's, I think it's like Psycho Pimp or something, but he was cool. Basically the story is just, it's like your typical 1980 cop dramas, man, where the guy comes in, the rookie, he meets the veteran, and they don't get, they kind of, the rookie has to prove himself to the department, and there's like the commissioner who's like, we got a special case, and is always on him, like a coach or something. So I thought that was pretty, like, I mean, we know the story. You've seen enough movies, you've read enough books, as I mentioned before, basically what you're getting into. And they're the Ambrosia Knights. I believe the Knight stands for something. If you read it, you kind of go through. I'm not going to spend too much time on that, on the story. But the point I want to make with this video, and with a lot of Comicsgate writers and just writers in general, basically, this is perfect, man. This doesn't overdo anything. It's not trying to make an Academy Award with the story or anything, win a Pulitzer Prize. It's just straightforward. Kind of just, it's formula, but it's good formula. It's like, it's stuff that everyone liked anyways, so why change it? And it kind of adds its own spin on it. It reminds me of, I believe Bright was that movie with Will Smith, and, there was, not Enemy Mine, but that movie with James Caan. You know what I'm talking about. The one with the aliens coming, and they integrate with society, and they become cops. I don't know why it escapes me now, why I can't remember the name of that. I had like a brain fart, but... And like this scene right here, dude. Look at the art right here. Let me try to zoom in on this. But it's like... like, what the fuck? A mermaid cut in half, and you can see like this... I don't know, it's pretty sick. But... I guess they're going over case files. It's one of the deaths that starts the whole investigation. But, like, look at this, dude. Like, what the fuck? And then it reminds me of, like, I don't know. It just reminds me of just, like shows, like, on Adult Swim and stuff that... Remember Home Movies, how bad that artwork was? But there was something charming about stuff like that. I mean... And now I'm not saying this artwork is bad. I don't think that was their intention to make bad artwork, but it works for me. It's not hyper realistic or nothing. I don't think that's what they're going for. I think it has a cartoony kind of quality, but it's just unique, man. I like it. I like it a lot, man. This I was kind of going through it. I ordered. They have a part 2 coming out that I have ordered already. Indiegogo. Now they do have promotional stuff that goes with this. Special cups, t-shirts, what have you, stickers, and I believe this one did too, even at the $25 tier. I think it came with, and yes, it did. It came with a bookmark too, but I'm not even sure where my bookmark is. My dog got a hold of that. Kind of pissed about it, but yeah. So it comes with like stuff like, here's a postcard from Ambrosia, which I thought was pretty sweet. You can see that. It's like a legitimate postcard. See, that's the kind of stuff you get with Comicsgate and Indiegogo and that scene. They actually put a lot of work into like giving you your money's worth. You're not just getting a comic, you're getting like special little trinkets, man. It's cool. Like the stickers here. I haven't used any yet. So moving on. But my point is with the cliches. Like this story is very cliche. It's very 1980s cop drama stuff. Just with fantasy elements like fairies and a werewolf and wizards, witches. It's so fucking cool. Like the commissioner, it's like every commissioner from the fucking 80s with the mustache. It's like stuff like that, and it's just so cheesy, but I like it. I love it, man. I love that cheese from the 80s. And like this right here, like this page with the fucking neon, and it's like it pops out at you. So like the colors they chose for this were so good. So many comics now especially use like a fuchsia or like a very like dull kind of palette, man. I don't like it. I love the primary colors and the brightness of it, man. Like this shot right here is so sick. It feels like everything is like acid, everything is just sick. And like he's getting chastised by the veteran. Like this is like in every like 1980s movie. Like, what were you thinking? And he comes right here and he's like, I know what you were thinking. You got caught up. You wanted that good grade from Cap. This isn't the classroom anymore, kid. Like stuff like that. He's even got his finger out waving it at him. So, so stuff like that. Like the writers here understand what they're making. They're not shooting for, any kind of award ceremonies or anything like that. It's basically just and this is what I was trying to get with the cliches, is basically like there are things that have worked for years. And, this is why I kind of don't like the Joss Whedon, Russo brothers era of storytelling, is because it's like they take those elements, the cliches and stuff, and find a way to twist them on their head or to subvert expectations. That's exactly what that scene was when Quicksilver died in Avengers 2, and they were like, he goes, I guess you didn't see that coming. Like they love kind of nudging their elbow into your shoulder and be like, haha, get it? You thought it was going to be this, but we did that. It's like subverting expectations, man. And for me, people do that either because they're either jealous of stuff that's worked and they kind of want to. It's kind of like when a son wants to outdo his dad or a brother wants to outdo his brother. It's like you have to one up a guy, and that's their way of one upping them. Star Wars, to be, George Lucas, when he made Star Wars, there's nothing new about Star Wars. There's not one shred of anything in it other than the designs for like the ships and the space stuff and the lightsabers. Like that stuff is all original, but the story itself is it's taken from the hero's journey stories, and he actually had a guy kind of teach him that, and George Lucas implemented those elements into Star Wars. So Star Wars is built on cliches. That's all it is. And my point is that you don't have to feel, as a writer, that you have to subvert expectations or basically, burn it all down kind of mentality. You can run with the formula because everyone likes it. It's worked, and it's there's nothing wrong with it is what I'm getting at. You don't have to feel stressed or feel pressure that you have to basically create something original or new. I think that's the issue a lot of people go through. But you can kind of bite down on what's been done before, tweak it a little bit, implement new designs, fresh characters, but still staying true to what's worked in the past. I mean, I have nothing against guys that want to really go out there and subvert expectations, but I just don't. Me personally, this is just a personal thing. I like good old-fashioned Superman. I like good old-fashioned Star Wars. I like, all that stuff has worked for me. Saying I like seeing it when a writer is confident in it, when a writer is not ashamed of it, when a writer doesn't, shy away from it, and he embraces the corniness, the cheesiness of it all, man. There's something good and safe about formula. I mean, there's good formula, there's bad formula, but there's something good when you do it right and you believe in it and you have a passion for it and you like the stuff that's come before, and it's just about taking it off the shelves, dusting it off, and reintroducing it. Enough of me going on my soapbox. Let me scroll through and show you some more beautiful artwork, man. This stuff is, this book is just chock full of stuff that when you read it, you're like, you've seen it before. But that's a part of its charm, man. Like this scene right here, her butt and shit. That's what's great about comics is like they have no filter. They're just like, what you see, like, I mean, all this is just great. This is like the typical running scene, like the guy's been made out, and he's just going, they're doing like a French Connection style like chase down, and he finally gets him. Guy runs into a car. He's arrested. He's got his head on the fucking hood of the car. Man, so yeah, this reminds me like Beverly Hills Cop, Miami Vice style shit. And like in the end, they get the perps and shit. I guess he leads them to Psycho Pimp, I think it is. Yeah, like this right here, I fucking love. Like this character, how colorful he is. He reminds me of that guy. I think his name was Meltdown from fucking Batman Beyond. But it's just so cool, dude. Psycho Pop. And like another shot right here, like the mermaids in the little goldfish bags you get at festivals or fairs. And just like, man, dude, looking at that is just, it was just cool kind of going through and seeing that. Like I would love a poster of like a lot of this art. I think he did. I think he actually did make some posters. And like this idea of like mermaids wanting to get surgery so they get legs. I think that's the hence the title, Drop Dead Legs. Instead, they're getting like killed or something. So it's a pretty good story. It's a pretty good concept. Your typical 80s cop stuff. Your typical 80s cop stuff mixed in with like fairies. But, and maybe if you did this story with like sci-fi elements, or maybe there's a guy who's going to come and do a cop book on, with like, I don't know, man, like vampires and shit. It's the genre is always waiting to be reintroduced, dusted off a little bit, tweaked a little bit here and there. But there's always going to be an audience for people who like the original stuff, who like the classic storytelling. Some more art. So yeah, basically you get a kind of a feel of it. Here's another one. Although I'm not sure what this is. Kind of come through. Yeah, this is cool. I like this scene. It's like reminds me of like Harry Potter whenever he fights Voldemort at the end with the wands, and it's magic versus magic. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much gonna wrap it up. And the point I just wanted to make was the whole thing on cliches and how they can work. And why you shouldn't, as a writer, kind of shy away from it and feel too bad about it. I just want to give some special shout outs, man. Definitely to Zaid Comics and the Diaz Brothers, dude. I love y'all's work. Thank you for making this. And I want to thank a lot of our subscribers who come on with Slackercast and been following us. This is a new kind of sub-channel I started on that channel, which is just Indie Comics Spotlight. And we're going to see how this goes. I got plenty more comics I'm going to review and put up on the channel. And I would love to get y'all's thoughts, man. Just from writing standpoints. And, if you're a comic book follower, or if you're someone who didn't even know about Indiegogo, please just let me know in the comments what y'all think. And, what y'all's thoughts are on, like, the cliche stuff. Like, do you like it when the writer subverts the expectations, or do you like just straightforward classic kind of storytelling? And I would love to hear y'all's thoughts. Thank you. Hit the like button and subscribe, please. It would help out a lot. And I hope to see y'all again. And slack off.